This video is presented by BuddhistQuotes.blogspot.sg. They said, by which virtuous karma will this bad karma be completely pacified in an instant? He said, by hearing the Sanghata dharma-paryaya. From among the sentient beings who have gathered here, all those who had faith upon hearing this dharma-paryaya are predicted to unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. If those persons who have committed the 5 uninterrupted actions even just hear this dharma-paryaya called Sanghata, they will completely exhaust and completely purify their karma of the 5 uninterrupted actions, instantly and entirely. For countless hundreds of thousands of myriad millions of eons, the doors to the lower realms will be closed. The 32 doors to the devas worlds will be opened. If that is how the roots of virtue of one who also hears even so much as just a 4-line verse from this Sanghata dharma-paryaya will become, what need is there to speak of one who shows it respect with flowers, incense, fragrance, garlands, lotions, powders, robes, canopies, banners and pennants, and who generates it, makes drawings, makes offerings, joins together symbols and musical instruments, and rejoices afterward one time, approving by saying, "Well said. Excellent, excellent." Then the Bodhisattva, the great being Sarvashvara, said to the Blessed One, "Blessed One, as for one who places their palms together and prostrates when the Sanghata dharma-paryaya is expounded, does merely placing their palms together produce a mass of merit?" The Blessed One said, "Child of the lineage, listen. Even those who have committed the 5 uninterrupted actions, have ordered them done and have rejoiced in the doing of them, and who place their palms together and prostrate upon hearing as little as a mere 4-line verse from this Sanghata dharma-paryaya, if all their karma of the 5 uninterrupted actions will be completely purified, then they prostrate." Sarvashvara, what need is there to mention those who hear this entire Sanghata dharma-paryaya comprehensively? This one will produce a much greater mass of merit than the former. Child of the lineage, I will show you an analogy in order to make the meaning of this Sanghata Sutra understood. Sarvashvara, it is as follows. To make an analogy, 5 great rivers issue forth from the palace of the Naga king Lama, where the sun never rises. If some person should count the drops of these 5 great rivers, Sarvashvara, would they be able to reach the end by counting their drops? He said, "Blessed One, that cannot be." The Blessed One said, "Sarvashvara, likewise too, it is impossible to reach the end of the roots of virtue of the Sanghata dharma-paryaya by counting for 100 eons or even for 1,000 eons. Sarvashvara, what do you think about this? Doesn't the one who explains this Sanghata dharma-paryaya for even an instant undertake hardships?" He said, "Blessed One, that one undertakes hardships." The Blessed One said, "Sarvashvara, the one who is able to explain this Sanghata dharma-paryaya undertakes much greater hardships than that. It is as follows. To make an analogy, by means of counting the drops in the 5 great rivers that arrive from Lake Lama, it is not possible to reach the end." He said, "Blessed One, what are those 5 great rivers?" The Blessed One said, "They are as follows: Ganges, Siddha, Vakshu, Yamuna and Chandrabhaga. These are the 5 great rivers that arrive to the great ocean. Each of the 5 great rivers is accompanied by 500 rivers. Sarvashvara, these 5 rivers also descend from the sky with 1,000 rivers each, and by them living beings are satisfied." He said, "Which are the 1,000 that accompany each of them?" The Blessed One said, "Svihendri is accompanied by 1,000, Shamka is accompanied by 1,000, Vohanti is accompanied by 1,000, Chitrasen is accompanied by 1,000 and Dharmavrti is accompanied by 1,000. Sarvashvara, these great rivers each possess 1,000 accompanying rivers. They let fall a stream of rain onto the planet Earth. Sarvashvara, they release streams of raindrops from time to time, and this produces flowers and fruits and crops. When the streams of rain are released onto the planet Earth, water will be produced. by the water that is produced, fields and gardens are all satiated and made happy. Sardashara, it is as follows. To make an analogy, the Lord of living beings makes all the planet Earth happy. Likewise, Sardashara, this Sangheta Dharma-paryaya is explained on earth for the benefit of many beings and for the happiness of many beings. The lifespan of humans is not like the lifespan of the devas of the 33. If you should ask who are the devas of the 33, Sardashara, those who dwell where Indra, the Lord of the devas, dwells are called the 33. Sardashara, there are also sentient beings who engage in good verbal conduct, and it is impossible to make an analogy for their mass of merit. 2. There are also sentient beings who engage in faulty verbal conduct, and it is impossible to make an analogy for their hell and animal rebirths. Those sentient beings who come to experience the sufferings of hell beings, animals and pretas have no refuge whatsoever. Their hopes having been dashed there, they lament and fall into hells. They should be seen as under the power of non-virtuous friends. And those sentient beings who engage in good verbal conduct and for whose mass of merit it is impossible to make an analogy, they should be seen as under the power of virtuous friends. When one sees a virtuous friend, a Tathagata is seen. When one sees a Tathagata, all one's wickedness is purified. When the Lord of beings causes joy on earth, it will be impossible to make an analogy for the happiness of the sentient beings on earth. Sardashara, likewise, this Sangheta Dharma-paryaya too performs the functions of a Buddha for the sentient beings of the planet Earth. Anyone who has not heard the Sangheta Dharma-paryaya is unable to be completely enlightened in the unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. They are unable to turn the wheel of Dharma. They are unable to beat the gong of the Dharma. They are unable to sit on the lion's throne of the Dharma. They are unable to enter the sphere of nirvana. They are unable to illuminate with countless light rays. Sardashara, likewise, those who have not heard this Sangheta Dharma-paryaya are also unable to sit in the heart of enlightenment. Sardashara said, Blessed One, may I ask about a certain wonder? Shugata, may I ask about a certain wonder? The Blessed One said, Sardashara, ask whatever you wish and I will clear away your doubts. He said, who was that sage who liberated those sentient beings from the karma of the 5 uninterrupted actions and then placed them one by one on the level of one who will never turn away? He said, the speech of Buddhas is profound. Sardashara, listen to me. The Sangheta Sutra is a teacher, manifesting in the form of a sage. The Sangheta manifests, out of kindness, even bodies of Buddhas. As many grains of sand as the Ganges holds, in just that many forms it teaches. It teaches in the form of a Buddha. It teaches even the essence of Dharma. Who wishes to see a Buddha? Sangheta is equivalent to a Buddha. Wherever the Sangheta is, always there the Buddha is. The Blessed One said, Child of the lineage, listen. Sardashara, at a time long past, 99 countless eons ago, there arose 12 million Buddhas. When the Tathagata Ragnatama arose, I became courageous in giving, and honored 12 million Buddhas with the name of Chandra. I attended them with food, drink, fragrance, garlands, lotions, whatever pleased them, good meals and everything required for their comfort. And having attended them thus, I recall attaining there a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. Sardashara, I recall that there arose 18 million Buddhas named Ratnavarbhasa. At that time too, having become courageous in giving, I honored 18 million Tathagatas with the name of Garbhasna with fragrance, garlands, lotions, ornaments and decorative attire, as was appropriate to each, and having done so, I attained thereto a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. Sardashara, I recall 20 million Buddhas, and every one of those Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas was named Shikhi Sambhaviyate. Sardashara, I recall 20 million Buddhas, and every one of those Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas was named Kajyapat. At that time too, having become courageous in giving, I revered the Tathagatas with fragrance, garlands and lotions, and then I offered them reverential service in the way that service should be offered reverentially to Tathagatas. And thereto I attained a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. Sardashara, there arose 16 million Buddhas named Buddha, Vimala Prabhasa, and at that time I was a rich head of household, with great wealth and possessions. Having renounced all possessions, I offered those 16 million Buddhas reverential service with offerings of sitting cloths, garments, fragrance, garlands, lotions and blankets, just as reverential service should be offered to Tathagatas. And at the very time I attained a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. This too I remember, but the prediction's exact time had not yet arrived. Sardashara, listen. 95 million Buddhas arose in the world, and each and every one of those Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas was named Shakyamuni. I at that time had become the righteous Dharma king and honored those 95 million Tathagatas named Shakyamuni with fragrance, garlands, lotions, sitting cloths, garments, incense, banners and pennants. And at the very time I attained a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. This I remember. Sardashara, there arose in the world 90 million Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas named Krakatsvyanda, and at that time I was a rich young Brahmin, with much wealth and possessions. Having renounced all possessions, I honored all those Tathagatas with fragrance, garlands, lotions, sitting cloths and garments. And having offered service to those Tathagatas as was appropriate to each individually, at that very time I attained a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. This too I remember, but I had not arrived at the prediction's exact time. Sardashara, there arose in the world 18 million Buddhas, and as for all of them, every one of those Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas was named Shakyamuni. At that time, having become courageous in giving, I honored all those Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas with fragrance, garlands, lotions, sitting cloths, clothing and ornaments. I offered them service in the way that service should be offered to Tathagatas, and at the very time I also remember attaining a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. But I had not arrived at the prediction's exact time. Sardashara, there arose in the world 13 million Buddhas, and as for all of them, every one of those Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas was named Avadasa. I honored those Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas with sitting cloths, garments, fragrance, garlands, lotions, blankets and ornaments. I offered them reverential service in the way that reverential service should be offered to Tathagatas. Those Tathagatas also explained various approaches to the Dharma to ascertain its meanings and the discipline, and then at that very time I attained a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. This too I remember, but the prediction's time had not yet arrived then either. Sardashara, there arose in the world 25 million Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas named Pushya. At that time I was a renunciate and honored those Tathagatas. As Ananda offers me service now, likewise I offered service to those Tathagatas, and there I attained a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. This I remember, but the prediction's time had not yet arrived then either. Sardashara, there arose in the world 12 million Tathagatas, Arhats, perfect and complete Buddhas named Vipassana. I honored those Tathagatas with sitting cloths, garments, fragrance, garlands and lotions. I offered them service in the way that service should be offered to Tathagatas. At that time, at that moment, having become a renunciate, Right there I also remember attaining a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. Soon thereafter, the last Vipassana to arise explained this Sanghata Dharma-paryayas, and I knew that, and then at that time the rain of the 7 precious substances showered down upon the planet Earth, and then there was no more poverty among the sentient beings on Earth. At that very time I attained a prediction of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. After that, for long period of time I was not predicted. He said, what was that time? What was the measure? The Blessed One said, Sarvashara, listen. The countless and after that, the Tathagata, Arhat, perfect and complete Buddha Dipankara arose in the world. At that time, at that moment, I was a Brahman youth named Mecca. At the time when Tathagata Dipankara arose in the world, I was practicing celibacy in the form of a Brahman youth. Then, when I had seen Tathagata Dipankara, I scattered 7 opulent flowers and dedicated to unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. And that Tathagata predicted to me, Brahman youth, in the future, in a countless eon, in this world, you will become a Tathagata, Arhat, perfect and complete Buddha named Shakyamuni. After that, Sarvashara, I sat in the space above at a height of 12 palmyra trees, and attained the state of forbearance with regard to unproduced phenomena. Just as if it were yesterday or today, I remember directly all those roots of virtue from when I practiced celibacy for countless eons and was endowed with the perfections. Furthermore, Sarvashara, I established countless hundreds of thousands of myriad millions of sentient beings individually in virtuous dharma. Therefore, Sarvashara, now, having been manifestly, completely enlightened into unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment, what need is there to mention that I wish to benefit all sentient beings? Sarvashara, I teach the Dharma in many ways to sentient beings. Whatever the form by which they are to be subdued, I teach the Dharma in that form. In the world of the Devas, I teach the Dharma in the form of a Deva. In the land of the Nagas, I teach the Dharma in the form of a Naga. In the land of the Yakshas, I teach the Dharma in the form of a Yaksha. In the land of the Pretas, I teach the Dharma in the form of a Preta. In the world of humans, I teach the Dharma in the form of a human. To those sentient beings who are to be subdued by a Buddha, I teach the Dharma in the form of a Buddha. To those sentient beings who are to be subdued by a Bodhisattva, I teach the Dharma in the form of a Bodhisattva. By whatever form it is that sentient beings are to be subdued, I teach the Dharma in that very form. Thus, Sarvashara, I teach the Dharma to sentient beings in many ways. If one should wonder why that is, Sarvashara, it is because just as sentient beings hear the Dharma in many ways, so too those sincere sentient beings will make roots of virtue in many ways. They will engage in acts of generosity. They will make merit. They will also go without sleep for their own sake. They will meditate on the mindfulness of death, too. They will do such virtuous actions as these that are to be done. Due to having heard the Dharma, they will remember these previous roots of virtue. That will come to be for the long-term aim, benefit and happiness of devas and humans. This video is presented by BuddhistQuotes.blogspot.sg.